Hello, everyone. My name is Pam Nakpil, and this is the Moving Truth with Pam. So, our guest for today, it's a very unique situation that got her here into Canada. So, we'll talk about that, but before that, let's have her introduce herself. Lay.
Hi, thanks for having me here. My name is Lena. Most people call me Lena, but my real name is Maria Elena. We came here directly in New Brunswick back in 2019, last quarter of 2019, because of a job opportunity.
Okay. So, that job opportunity, let me center on that. So, you came here to work, specifically
Yeah.
to work. Was it under any of the government programs or any other, we have the provincial nominee, we have the Atlantic Immigration Program. How did you get
No.
here?
Not at all, not amongst those mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's very unique. So I'm very lucky because I got an opportunity that time 2019. It's kind of tough to make a decision because I
Yeah.
got two offers from a big outsourcing company back in the Philippines. So
Wow.
it's can I say the
Sure,
name?
sure,
It's
sure.
it's concentric. So
Okay.
they offered me two opportunities. One is to handle an account for a largest retail within North America, and
Okay.
then here in Canada too. So the opportunity back there would be, the position is higher compared to what I'm gonna get here. But of course, if you were given the two options to, let's say, stay in the Philippines or move to Canada with your family, that's why
Okay.
we made a decision to move. So,
So
it's
the-
an opportunity given by the
Concentrics.
concentrics. Yeah.
So, the Philippines has a lot of call centers.
Yeah.
I mean, you and everyone knows that whenever you call someone,
Yeah.
sometimes I'd speak to a Filipino, I'd speak to them in Filipino, and I feel good about it. But so the other position was biggest account, biggest retail,
Yeah.
North America, but in the Philippines. And then the other one was you're going to be pulled out
Yeah.
from the Philippines to Canada.
Yeah, it's a Canadian bank as well.
Was it an easy decision for you to do that?
I think at that time I was very excited. So I feel that the decision is like, okay, let's
Let's
go for
go.
it. Let's go for it because they'll support the move as well. Everything's included, including my family.
Wow.
So yeah. So it's like it's never hard for me that time because you don't have to think about the job, right? Like other people would
Come
think
here.
about come here to study
Yeah.
or get some LMIA or things like that. But that decision was very easy because everything will be given to you by the
Okay.
company as a support.
So everything was supported.
Yeah.
They got you here. So what were you going to do when you got here, Lay?
The same that I do back home,
Okay.
which is to oversee the operations of the program.
Okay.
Um,
How is it compared? Because back home you'll be overseeing
alert.
Filipinos like us, okay? But I will assume that you're not necessarily overseeing Filipinos here. So
Yeah.
what was the change? What was there a difference as far as management, as far as dealing with people?
More of the culture change, and I was shocked a little bit.
What
Because,
shocked you?
In the Philippines, if I can compare that, first thing, it's night shift. So,
Okay.
people, and there's more salary if you work in the call center in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Compare here, it's kind of like, no, it's all the same, right? So, people there in the Philippines would think that, okay, I'll do everything so that I can retain this job and things like that. But I think here in Canada, it's more of, it's kind of like, I don't want to look at it at a bad way, but I would think that sometimes when employees think of it as, okay, I can maybe
Stay here a little.
stay here a little, and
Okay.
then let's say it's okay if they don't perform or things like that.
So different
different
attitude.
attitude, different attitude. Like of course in the Philippines, if you put in a disciplinary actions, for example, and it's not achieved, then it's easier for you to
Because
maybe
Yeah.
terminate people,
Oh, okay.
something like that, right?
But here it's
it's
different.
different because it's protected. Employees are protected, which is a good thing, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm not saying that it's not protected there in the Philippines, but
It's really different.
It's really different, like in terms of the culture of I'm gonna comply with the company rules and policies because there's no other options for
Okay.
jobs, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not a huge like.
Okay.
I think the opportunities in the Philippines is less compared to
Especially
here.
for higher paying
Especially for
jobs.
higher paying
Paying
jobs,
jobs.
right? Exactly. So they have the mindset of, okay, I have to do my very
Well.
best so I can
Okay.
keep this job.
But
right?
here
Like
you sense that.
you, kind of, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, we
Yeah.
can be honest.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
it's very different as far as the attitude is
Yeah.
concerned because
Yeah.
it's not necessarily a high-paying job here.
Yeah,
for,
that's
for
right.
people here.
Yeah, so it's kind of like if you look at it, the call center here is something that maybe anyone can do.
Like okay.
Like something like that. But in the Philippines, it's more of a higher paying jobs, and if you don't perform,
There's
a
competition.
competition, and there's a tendency for you to get like removed from your job, right?
Oh,
So
wow.
it's kind of tough.
So it's scary.
It's scary for them, yeah. It's scary, and admit it. Like in the Philippines, like they take those jobs seriously because
Seriously.
of the pay.
yeah.
So that's the difference, I
okay.
guess.
So when you say culture shock, was it also difficult, being an immigrant, handling people that are either local or from other countries? Was it a challenge for you to be their manager when,
Yeah.
hey, you're not from here, kind of
Absolutely,
thing?
yeah, that's right.
Did you feel like you were treated?
I felt that, yeah, I felt that 100%. But you just have to be really open and ensure that you establish a good and harmonious relationship with them in the beginning, like of that
Okay.
relationship. You have to ensure that they understand as well that it's not me who just wanted this to like overcome what you guys are doing here already. It's kind of like, hey, let's
Work together.
Let's work together.
Okay.
And there's an opportunity for me to, let's say, it's just a year of
Okay.
opportunity for me to like change that account.
So
but,
was it just a year?
No, I was like given a year at least to
Okay.
manage, and then if I don't like it anymore, I can go back to the Philippines, and they'll support it again. Like they'll support everything.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So, but I made
Obviously,
the
you
decision.
did well.
Obviously, I'm still here. So yeah, but yeah.
But like when you came here for a year, did you think you would stay, or was your frame of mind that, I'm okay, I can go home?
Yeah, there's a lot of time that I think about that I wanted to go home because of course the challenges as well. Back home it's easier for you to establish friendships in the workplace.
Okay.
So when you establish those friendships, especially you are all Filipinos, right? So there's no there's kind of okay, people would follow you quicker, easier.
Yeah.
So when you go to a different country and you're
You're
probably
the
an
boss.
immigrant and you're the boss, it's a different thing.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's so different. So those are some of the challenges that I felt like emotionally breaking me that time.
Wow.
So I wanted to go back home, but of course I will think about my daughter's future.
Okay, we'll talk about your
Yeah,
daughter
so-
later. But what kind of challenges were you meeting as far as managing people? Was it very different? I mean, I
It's
know,
very different.
like, what kinds of issues did happen? Like,
Well, a lot. So, for example, I'll give an example in terms of performance improvement plan. In the Philippines, you just really have to go through the disciplinary actions, but here it's very hard. Like,
oh wow.
you would have to really engage your human resources. They would have to look at a lot of things too,
Okay.
which I would, if I compare to the Philippines, as long as it's not met,
Your goals are not met
your goals are not met, then we have to let you go. So
because you knew that when you started,
Yeah, so,
right? But
yeah.
here it's different.
it's different,
Okay.
totally different.
Did you feel like there were some people like feeling like I don't
I
want you to be the boss?
Yeah.
Like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Were they very upfront with you on that?
No, not really, but you would feel that, like you would feel it. But eventually, I'm so glad that, maybe I felt that first 6 months
Okay.
within the role, but eventually, they became a very open-minded person
Well,
too.
that's good.
Yeah, that's good too. So yeah, some of the managers that I handled in the previous company were still my friends. So
Oh, that's good. So eventually you won them over.
yeah,
But like for me, that's a big thing. I mean, Canada's a big country. They could have opted to find someone
yeah,
here. So
that's true.
very impressively about that. So when you got here, what were the on the personal side, what was the difference living in Canada versus the Philippines? And was it a big adjustment for you guys? I know you had a lot of support,
Yeah.
but not just finding a place, not just that, but like what other things did you find anything difficult in settling down?
For me, I don't drive. So back home, we were from the metro, so lots of
You can commute.
transportation you can commute. But because I don't drive, it's hard for me. Like those are some of the adjustments that I made. And
Okay.
back in the Philippines, you have like helper at home, right? Maybe you can do it here, but
Oh,
it's
it's
very
very
expensive, right?
expensive.
But so those are some of the adjustments that we made. Of course, the weather too. Right?
Yeah,
If you, it's
definitely.
the weather is something that you would of course compare.
The funny thing
Yeah,
is,
you-
I saw a meme one day that we saved so much money to go back
To the
to the
Philippines,
beaches
yeah.
just so, and we
Yeah,
were there. But it's different. So why, when you talk about your daughter, I mean, why is it important, or why did you not make a decision to go back? Because you did a year,
Yeah.
you obviously did well. Was there an option really for you to stay?
Yeah. Yes. So, it's funny because in the beginning, my daughter also wants to go home because we
Okay.
forced her to go to French
Ooh.
immersion, and she's also having hard time. But eventually, she was able to adapt.
Kids are easy.
Yeah.
Easily adapting.
You would like to, especially here in New Brunswick, it's laid back. You feel peaceful, more peaceful compared to the metro in the Philippines in terms of crime and things like that. So, and of course, there's free education in the Philippines and there's free education here as well. But if you look at,
Yeah.
your daughter's benefit in terms of the schooling, the
Okay.
university in the future, I felt like, okay, the place for her is safer here compared to, the metro in the Philippines. So,
So-
I really consider everything that I do, I make decisions about whether to stay or to go back. It's always about her.
So
And she has friends here too.
that's
Right,
it.
so-
Kids find friends so
Yeah.
easily as well. So when the 1 year was up, what happened? What was the decision point you had to do? Did they ask you, do you want to stay? Do you want to go?
Yeah, so that time, the I felt pitied about myself when I first slipped. Some people make you laugh about it, but that moment when I was walking, because the office was near the apartment,
Okay.
so I was like, oh, what am I doing? It's very cold here. It's not comfortable for me.
Okay.
And then, but I would look back and say, but in the Philippines, I would work there during the night. So
That too, the schedule.
Right, the schedule too. So there's a lot of balancing in terms of would I stay, would I not stay? So there's an option, right? So they would start connecting to your network and will pay for your airfare.
Okay.
Yeah, so those things. But I said, if I get my permanent residency
You will
within
stay.
within this year, we'll stay. And January, our AIP was returned because unfortunately, I did not sign the first.
That's the only
form.
thing?
Yes. So because you were like so excited, fill that out, because at the
Oh
sixth
my
month
God.
of my
Employment.
with Concentrics Canada, they already supported the AIP for
Wow.
me, AIPP. So we passed the application. It's a paper application, so you expect that it's longer. So there's anxiety and all. And then it got returned January of the following year.
So you had to pay
Because-
again. Everything.
So the good thing is they refunded.
Just a portion, right?
No, they refunded
Everything?
everything.
Well,
So that's
didn't
good.
get
So
refunded.
they refunded it, and then okay, I said maybe I would just go through a different stream, which is the the fastest stream, which is
Canadian experience?
yes,
No.
Canadian
Oh,
experience
I
class.
always thought it was AIP that was faster.
No, so we got the, and we're family of 3.
Okay.
So they're my dependents. We got our permanent residency in 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
3
really
months.
fast.
Yeah.
So then you decided, okay, we're gonna stay.
Yeah, maybe things like you pray for it, right? Like
Yeah.
if this doesn't work out, that's
It's not for you.
that's the sign for you. It's you. So, and then during that time, I wasn't applying or anything. I was contacted by CIBC. Hey, we saw your LinkedIn profile.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they reached out to me, and actually Rogers also reached out to me, but they're
Oh,
not
no, Rogers.
supporting. They're not supporting
AIP.
any AIP
Immigration.
immigration, or because I have a closed work permit that time. Because I have a closed work permit, they wouldn't.
Okay.
I was also offered a job in BC from Amazon,
Wow.
but they wouldn't also support.
So you were
I wasn't
looking for
applying.
someone.
I wasn't applying, but they because my profile is active in
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Employers are reaching out, but I don't know. I just felt good about my new company, my current company. So they reached out. So right after I got my permanent residency,
You moved.
I felt that I already gave everything for the company who supported me to be here, and it's
Yeah.
time for me to like move
on.
on. And yeah,
Try.
that's it. Try other
Is there
things.
anything you miss being here and not home?
My mom, yeah.
It's really family,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Ate Pam, don't get me wrong, but I'm so lucky because I have my daughter and my spouse here with me, so it was easier. But when you talk to other Filipinos who only came here by themselves, you become more grateful because at least you have them,
family.
you have your daughter and your spouse here. But of course, it's different that your sisters, your siblings,
Your
and your moms
community, your
there.
little
Yeah.
families there.
And your friends too. Like when you go social media and you look at them
Oh,
and you look
wow.
at their photos, enjoying and
You're
things
not
like
there.
that. You're not there, but those are the things that I miss. The food as well. But I'm so glad that you open a restaurant and there's food that you can at least growing Filipino restaurants
Community.
here as well.
Yeah.
And so those are the things that I miss, and of course the weather at
Ah,
times.
yeah.
The weather at times.
The
right? But,
beaches.
the beaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything you fear about being here, about being away from family? Is there any, because I have my fears, but I want to hear from you. What are your fears being away from family?
From my mom, specifically because she's old now. So, God forbid, right? But
Yeah.
that's one of my fears. Like, I would not see her again. But in June she's coming, so
Oh,
that's
is this her first time to be
yes,
here?
first time. So
Wow.
it's her 70th birthday when she'll come. But that's one of my fears. Like, what if, right? Like,
You don't know.
I always tell my daughter, when you're 18, I'm gonna go back to the Philippines, but so that I can be with my mother.
Like, what are the things? Yeah, I know we miss family. And that's the hardest part of it. But what are the things that you enjoy here that you think you cannot have back home? I know we talk about, crime, everything. But what is it that you enjoy here in New Brunswick?
New Brunswick, when you talk about Canada, the first perception that you think about is friendly people. But I think the friendly people is really about the Atlantic provinces,
Oh.
including New Brunswick.
Yeah.
So the weather is great at times. Maybe I would say 70% of the time the
Yeah.
weather is perfect compared to the Philippines if
Other-
you're
yeah.
not into the hot weather, right? So, yeah. And then, of course, the crime. I feel like it's very peaceful here. And everything's, I just feel that it's more peaceful, no pollution
Yeah.
here in New Brunswick.
I know it's hard when you talk about your mother country like
Yeah.
that, but sometimes there are things you want to really have for your family.
Yeah.
Not just for yourself, but most especially for your children, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So how do you see yourself 5 years from now? Do you see yourself living in Moncton, living in New Brunswick, or is going somewhere else still in the in your mind for you?
Last year, we were deciding between leaving New Brunswick and going to Alberta.
Yeah.
Um,
Alberta is calling.
Yeah, Alberta is calling, but we prayed, and I said, my company went through the review of whether it's gonna be approved or not, because it has to be within 2 hours of the main office, and we
Okay.
don't have a main office in Alberta.
Alberta.
So anyway, I said if that's going to be approved, that means that we have to go.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't. We were already speaking to a realtor to buy a house, things like that in
Yeah.
Alberta, but it didn't happen. It wasn't approved. So maybe it wasn't
Meant to be.
But last month they said, okay, I can already go because it's a
There's
work
a-
from home. So it's an
Oh.
opportunity. If you wanted to go, you can go because it opened up. So I was asking, maybe it's for me, but there's an opportunity to move, but we wanted to stay in New Brunswick because people are lovely,
Yeah.
friendly, and it's laid back too, right? It's very laid back. It's relaxing. I
You
feel
don't want the
peace.
city
I
life
really feel
anymore?
peace. Yeah, no. Sometimes we leave I was telling my spouse, sometimes we leave the car outside unlocked. You don't worry about it.
But don't do that anymore.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah. But things like that
Yeah,
are
yeah.
people are so friendly. They'll hold the door for you.
Oh, wow, yeah.
When you're getting those simple things, right? When you're getting into the grocery, they'll hold the door for you.
Makes you
Say
feel
good
better.
morning, how are you? Yeah, it makes you feel human, right?
Yeah.
Those are simple things that maybe you don't get from other provinces because we've been through different provinces. You get to compare.
When you travel, right?
Yes, you don't even see people smiling at you, and simple smile makes a big everything good the entire day, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I really love about New Brunswick. So when they say Canadians are friendly,
It's really
the Atlantic
it's really New
provinces.
Brunswick. Okay.
New
So
Brunswick.
for my last question, Ray, if you had to do it over again, would you do it? Would you move? Would you bring your family here, uproot them from what they're used to, and be here?
Yeah, looking back, I would still do the same, absolutely the same. We would go back, we would go here, we would settle down. It made my daughter more dependent.
Oh, wow.
That's a win for us.
Independent.
Independent,
Independent,
sorry,
yeah.
independent. Back then we're so dependent with our helpers, but here she's very independent.
Okay.
At the age of 14, she's already working
Wow.
weekends. So if I have to redo it,
You do it again.
I'll do it the same.
Thank you. No, I love hearing stories like this. I love hearing different pathways of being here. So thank you for joining me today, Lay.
Yeah.
So with that, everyone, this is The Moving Truth with Pam, and we'll see you again next time. Bye for now.